So hello Athens, my name's Dylan Potter. I'm a partner with law firm VedderPrice, and we're coming to you today through the sort of one of the marvels of modern technology, linking together a very esteemed panel from across China, from Beijing and Shanghai. Obvious circumstances have meant that we've moved to this format for you today so that you can get the benefit of the insights of my three panelists, and focusing particularly on the Chinese leasing market and the opportunities that that provides for ship finance and options for the Greek shipping community going forward. So my panel today consists of Mr. Fang Xiuzhi, who is the head of shipping finance at Bank of Communications Financial Leasing. I have Mr. Jack Zhu, who's Deputy Head of Shipping Finance at CMB Financial Leasing. And then finally, Mr. Bill Gu, Executive Director for Shipping at ICBC Financial Leasing. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me, and I'm very happy that you've been able to dial in successfully to our call from Beijing and Shanghai. And I guess to start off, I think the audience would love to hear a little bit more about each of you and your relevant institutions. So I was thinking that we could start with a bit of a discussion about what does your current book look like? How successful have you been in growing your ship finance portfolio? Sort of looking at the value and the types of ships you're looking at, and particularly the type of customers that you've been working with over the last couple of years. And then following that, I think we'll get into some more of the topical discussions dealing with both how you see the business developing going forward, and some of the challenges that the current market faces. So Mr. Fang, maybe we start with you.
Okay, thank you. Currently, our company's total shipping assets are about 1.2 billion US dollars, and container ships account for 40% of our portfolio, and the oil tankers 30%, bulk carriers and gas carriers respectively 11%, and other types of vessels 8%. Yeah, that's our portfolio's current book situation.
And Jack, is a similar situation at CMB, or have you guys taken a different approach?
Yes, thank you, Dylan. Good day to everyone. This is Jack from China Merchants Bank Leasing Company. Thanks to Capital Link to organize this panel. So we have opportunities to update our situations here. I think as you all of you know, according to the published numbers, I think the Chinese lessors have done very well in last year. So according to the numbers, at the end of 2019, total shipping portfolio under all of the Chinese lessors already reached 59 billion US dollars. It's a huge number. And my understanding, among these 59 billion US dollars, the top three Chinese lessors contribute more than 30 billion US dollars. So I do think the Chinese leasing market is quite a consolidated market. Of course, both of ICBC and BOCAM are the big brothers, so others are smaller ones. So for CMB leasing, our country portfolio, I think just reached the 7 billion US dollars. And we have involved all of the types of vessels, such as dry bulks, container vessels, gas carriers, and some specialized vessels in last year. Of course, we have done several deals with our Greek friends. So last year we have done crude tanker, oil tankers with our Greek friends. So we still wanted to do more deals with our Greek clients. We do think the Greek market is one of our most important markets for our total portfolio. So from myself, so I was planning to visit Greece in this March, but because of the coronavirus outbreak, so I delayed that plan. But we share flight to Asia quite more often than before. So we hope to see you all very soon. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Jack. And Bill, as representing one of the big brothers for ICBC, how does your portfolio stand?
Thank you. You know, it's also good to see some old friend face, Mr. Fang, also Jack, and we are at Zoom.com. And thanks for the organization by the Capital Link for this good opportunity. And you know, these two gentlemen already shared I would say the China leasing and the book's value. So we had the exact same number, and with the Broadcom leasing, we also have the $12 billion, maybe slightly smaller than them, and by the end of 2019, but we are figure very close. So and 12 billion, and the largest ones still come from LNG and the dry bulk, which is the two largest and section in our books, and take about the 2/3. Another 1/3, consists of with the container ships, also with the tankers, also with cruise ships. So this 12 billion is only for the shipping, excluding for the offshore business, and slight difference compared with others. So we are more focused on, say, we call about the direct customers. For example, like the trading house, the energy company, which means we have done some deals with, I would say, for example, like Vale, BP, and the Shell. So it's kind of, I would say, the customers who need the business. But also, meantime, we have lots of the business transaction with the Greek owners as well. So for ICBC banks, we are set up our office in Athens, and the ICBC Leasing have not had the rep office yet, but we have the planning maybe, to set up it by the end of this year. But it's just plan. It's only the plan yet, and which means we are very focused on the European market, especially for the Greek market as well. So that's our today's books. Thank you.
And I think, Jack, I mean, you probably touched on one of the key topics of the day, really, which is COVID-19 and the effects of the new coronavirus, and already curtailing sort of travel plans to meet some of your Greek clients. I guess maybe starting with you, Jack, how are you seeing the development of the virus sort of impact your business, and what are the ways you're working to continue your contacts with your clients and making sure that work and the opportunities that are present in the market, you're able to make the most of those in the coming months?
Yes, we already extended 1 more week for our Lunar New Year holiday. And then we have been asked to work from home from this Monday. And according to the official announcements, the number of new affected people out of Hubei province have been decreased for 7 consecutive days, and more patients have been cured. I think this is good news. And I estimate we shall return to normal very quickly. So I just received the news from our office. Maybe half of our colleagues will back to our office from next Monday. Maybe from the week after next week, so we start to full-time work in office. So this may be a good news. And so far in Shanghai is quite, I think it's not affect a lot. I think the affected people number is quite small compared to the Shanghai, the population numbers. So our baseline scenario is that the situation will be under control by the end of March. This is not a very optimistic estimate. Maybe the optimistic one might be controlled by the end of February. So of course, the virus outbreak have brought us very negative effect on many sectors. Of course, like travel and tourism industries, logistics, manufacturing. But I heard some of the shipyards in Shanghai area already started back to normal production. I think it should be a recovery very, very soon. But maybe I think this may be not very big impact on the new building ships. Even actually, we have postponed several of the new building deliveries. But we understand the ICBC just received a new building for their VLC vessels. So this is also a good news. I think maybe for the ship repair sector, maybe it's much more serious compared to the new building vessels delivery. So like the scrubber retrofit or other repair shipyards, so they have a lot of delays. So maybe after the recovery, they can catch up. Also, the market maybe also have some bounce back or bounce up. So we are looking forward to that.
Yeah, I guess for the benefit of the people in the audience, we're recording a couple of days ahead of the conference, and we've just had news coming this morning. I think that some of the shipbuilders in China are back and operating and looking to keep the schedule, which is great news. But Mr. Fang, is it the same for you? Are you seeing the same kind of approach, or are you doing anything particular to keep in contact with customers during this time?
Yes. This time, how to say, this coronavirus has recently occurred in China, has brought some difficulties to the China's economic development in the short term. But now actually, you can see from the news that the China government has made great determination, and the people of the whole country was working together to fight the virus. And we believe the inflection point will come soon. So on the whole, China has great confidence in defeating the epidemic, and for us, how to say, due to the epidemic, we use the various communication tools to work remotely, just like now this conference call we attend by this way. And we use the Zoom software, right, to have an online meeting. So, and at present, some of our employees work at home and some work in office. Our project review meeting is also carried out through remote meetings. The project progress is not affected. And during the epidemic, for European customers, our marketing office or marketing branch in Hamburg will already is planning a good role this time. They will attend the next week on-site for Capital Link conference. So for us, it has no impact actually on our customers in Europe, and in general, our shipping business are not affected and is still operating normal.
Yeah, I guess the international offices, so having the benefit of the Hamburg base is is very helpful, I guess. And then Bill, as you mentioned earlier, with your office in Athens, I think that probably assists in much the same way, does it?
Exactly. That's why the plan, I think this year the focus is to build up our international network. So maybe some media already published that we are trying to build offices, the wrap office in Hong Kong, also in London, as well maybe Athens. So that's for 2020 and the target. And it's just beginning. So, today's right now, the coronavirus has been, need to slow down, I would say, our progress. Like, Mr. Fang said, well, if you have someone staying in Europe, it will be easier to have, let's say, face-to-face meeting with the customers also to attend this kind of conference. And regardless of what's kind of happened in other countries. So it's necessary for like ICBC Leasing to build international global network, to be more close to the customers. Back to, I would say, the impact by the coronavirus and for ICBC leasing. Like Jack already mentioned. So far, there's very little impact for us, especially for the shipping business. We just received one ship, new building ships, and yesterday, from the Qingdao shipyard. So the only, the pity that we didn't give the, I would say, the name giving also the ceremony to, this lovely and the vessel. So maybe we have to compensate later when she's back. Also today, we also, go through a new project by the credit committee. I just got the news and 5 minutes ago, and the project being approved. So right now, people working online maybe can have more time to focus on the project, also to focus on, I would say, some business opportunity. So that's the good thing. Of course, the bad thing for the negative impact for the coronavirus is about for the economy impact, which is short term, but also impact the shipping, especially. You can see the BCI, BDI had to go to maybe one of the historical low again. So even for the BCI goes to the minus result, which really shocked I would say for lots of people. And but again, like people said about also, I share the same opinion with my China leasing and the friends. It's just a short-term impact. If you look back for 10 years and the history in the Chinese economy, whenever this kind of the disaster happen, it's for next year or maybe the next few months, the China economy always been booming and the rebounding quickly, to cover the loss in this few years, a few months. So I think maybe in the second half of this year, we may be facing some good opportunity again in the shipping business. But right now, we have to find out the way to fight with the coronavirus in China, in Beijing, also in other cities like Hubei, Wuhan. So that's the current situation we have to face. But I would say for the long-term view, we are very positive for the business.
Yeah, well, I guess being able to conduct a teleconference via video with the four of us plus the Capital Link team in New York shows that modern technology does help get transactions done, even with the challenges of having sort of a large number of people working from home or working from different parts of the world. So that's great to see. I guess let's now look at the future for each of you and how you see the business kind of developing going forward. And one of the areas I was particularly interested in is sort of looking at the extent to which there's a development from the kind of the finance lease structure, where the vessel might end up being returned to the shipping company at the end of the transaction, and see how each of you are looking at potentially operating leasing sort of model, maybe following on what some of you have done in other asset classes like aviation, to see whether you're looking to build up an owned portfolio, a sort of operating lease portfolio. Bill, from the ICBC side, have you got do you see the market or your approach moving at all in that way, or will it still mainly be finance leasing that you're looking at?
Yeah, I think, even though I'm saying in the media, maybe there's a few articles already, published that ICBC Leasing has done several option leasing in the past few years. But we still, mainly focus on the financial leasing because we still be financial institution, and the financial leasing, I would say, is more match with what we should be do. And but meantime, we also offer, I would say, innovative solution to the customers. If customer needs operation leasing, which means they just need the ships and operate, not just own the ships by themselves, so we can do the operation leasing for them. So from that perspective, we also work on the operation leasing, especially in the dry bulk side. So we have done several dry bulk business, and with, as I said, the mining company, also trading house, and that's particularly. So that's the general speaking. So we still try to manage the financial leasing as our main, I would say, business model, and the operation leasing, I would say, was nice to have also as a support function for our whole business portfolio. We try to keep the two ways working instead of one way. So that's our situation right now.
And Jack, from CMB Financial Leasing's perspective, is it much the same with you?
We might be a little bit different from ICBC Leasing. So we currently, we still focus on financial leasing structure. So we have some experience on operating leasing structure during we taking back our distressed vessels around 2012 to 2013 something. So in that time, we have to took back our distressed vessel and using third parties ship management, and maybe based on the time charter contracts basis to operating the vessel by ourselves. I think maybe ICBC Leasing and also WEBCAST Leasing are more capable than ourselves. They can integrate the industry chain. They can use the third-party management, and also can talk directly to the cargo owners to arrange and organizing the whole deals by themselves. But CMB Leasing currently just focus on the financial side. We do think we are very focused on the cooperation with traditional ship owners. So we think traditional owners, they have very specialized professional on the to choose the right type of vessels, to negotiate with the cargo owners, to negotiate with the management teams. So they are professionals. So we are basically just a fund provider. So we definitely wanted to cooperate with the real and the traditional family-owned ship owners. So that's our current situation.
Mr. Fang?
Yeah. For WEBCAST Leasing, now our operating years accounts for about 60%. 60% for operating years, but because most of our ships remaining value is relatively low, and we provide purchase option to our clients, and we believe most of our clients will buy back after the leasing period ends. So actually, we believe our operating years actually is financial years, not the truly operating years, and so different from the ICBCs, the business they made are really operating years. And now in the we also will develop some operating years like ICBC has done, but to a very limited proportion, we believe, because just as Jack said, we are still a financial institution and will not be a ship owner. And in the future, we will mainly focus on our financing service But if we find some good opportunity for operating years, surely we will do.
Yeah, I think, I mean, Bill mentioned earlier some of the deals that ICBC have hit the press for recently in relation to their deals with Vale and BP and Shell. Is that something that BOCOM's looking at as well, sort of focusing on some of the commodity providers or oil and gas majors as well?
Yes, we will do if some end users want a good, provide a good opportunity for us. We'll follow, because end users is also our target clients. But considering we don't have the technical, the third-party management, we have to find one, and we don't think we can. Our focus should move to the end users, to the operating years. So we'll do, but gradually.
Mm-hmm. And Bill, on that topic, I mean, those types of transactions, are they putting you in sort of conflict with traditional ship owners, or is it something that you see, Bill, as being sort of supplemental to the market?
I would say, that's a very good question. We have to, distinguish ourselves clearly. Should we going to become like some people said about, we are the financial ship owner, we still become like the financial institution. Being a financial ship owner, you have to play like a ship owner, because some kind of engineering people, technical people to help you to run the ships. And with the ship to take back, you have to looking for the second term of the leasing, or maybe chartering, or maybe sell to the market. If you become a financial institution, it's simple. You're just looking for the balance sheet, or so, look for the historical data, then, decide to do or not do. and it's a little challenge. That's why ICBC Leasing, we want to take some kind of, let's say, innovation, but we still very conservatively, which means we only focus on very small sections. Also, like the dry bulk, maybe, and feeder, or maybe MR tanker. So very small, and say the segment we want to try, not what we want to do for the operating leasing. Like Fang said, that 60% they are operation leasing. For ICBC Leasing right now, it's only 40 or 42%. It's operation leasing, and of course, on our operation leasing is a bit more, real operation leasing. Even for like the COA contract, even like some deal with we just built for new ships, and the Newcastle Max in the SWS. So this is a real operation leasing, is right. But as I said, from heart inside, we still focus on, say, the ship owners, because that's our customers. And we just realized, sometimes for the commodity providers, they are also our customers. They need ships, and if we couldn't find some ship owners to provide this kind of service to them, they have to step up. That's the only way we work on operating leasing. Otherwise, we prefer step down, step behind of the traditional ship owners, wait them to step up, then we provide the capital to them. So that's kind of the compromise solution, I would say, within our teams in ICBC Leasing.
Okay. All right. Changing tack a little bit, and a quick question for each of you on behalf of the bankers in the audience. Maybe Jack, starting with you. How are you financing the vessels that you've acquired to date? Are you back leveraging them in the bank market? Are you relying on China Merchant Bank to sort of drive the funding? How have you been approaching that so far?
So our money sources mainly came from, I think mainly come from the traditional banks, and also the bond markets, and also from some fund providers, the alternative fund providers. So the mother bank provides us credit support, so we can issue the bonds in the international capital markets. And also we have a lot of cooperations with European shipping banks. We have done a lot of project basis refinance projects. So I think the traditional European banks do have a lot of cooperation angles with Chinese lessors. So that's why, so last year we have several deals actually cooperated with European banks to provide our clients one-stop solutions. So the banks side maybe do some equity pieces, and from leasing side we can do the senior part, and together maybe the mezzanine part. So we together with the traditional banks provide our clients the one-stop solutions. And our money, I think so far the funding cost is going to decrease, and the money sources can be more and more diversified. So from the capital markets, and also from the banks, and also from some alternative fund providers. The mother bank also give us a lot of support. So China Merchant Bank also achieved very good results in last year. So the bank side much more focused on the retail banking side. So this is quite a big difference with shipping finance. So this means the bank side is very not focused on the heavy asset finance. So they have a very good fundamental basis to support our deals. So the China Merchant Bank's the performance is kind of ranked the top of all of the Chinese banking industry. So the leasing side, so we can achieve a good funding cost to support our clients. So the China Merchants Group do have a lot of other industries, such as terminal, also shipbuilding, also shipping business, and including bank and the insurance company. And our insurance arms also can provide some financial support to us. So this is our currently the money sources.
Okay. Mr. Fang, is it the same on BOCOM's side? Have you been looking at sort of refinancing or bringing in additional finance for the vessels you've acquired?
For BOCOM, every year we issue bonds in international market, and we also do some refinance project. And for refinancing, most of our money came from overseas international banks, and only a small part are provided by Bank of Communication, our parent company, and also our overseas branches support us. Yeah.
Okay. And Bill, similar situation for ICBC?
Yes, very similar. And I think that the only different, because the bonds only provide, let's say, the short-term equity, and the project finance provide longer funding. So we have to depend on the project. With some project in our quoting, maybe too low sometimes. So we have looking for the, the project finance to match the whole terms. So to compensate maybe some kind of the potential loss. And because right now the rates change very often, from up and down. So we have to hedge, from the project finance fund perspective to protect our interest. So that's slightly different. And for us, the bond equity, and also for us to provide the short-term, the equity, for sometimes some say new building projects, some operation leasing. So we don't looking for the operation leasing. We don't looking for the project finance at the very beginning. We use our the short-term equity to cover our expense. 100% equity. So that's something that say that's why for the bank background financial leasing, they have very strong say equity also cash flow. So that's why they can do some operation leasing. Back to the previous question. So because they can finance the new building by 100% equity at the very beginning. So that's different compared with the traditional shipping company.
Okay, and we've sort of flown through our allotted time, but I wanted to just finish with one question about, I guess, probably the other hot topic of the day, which is sort of ESG issues and looking at environmental matters. And I just wanted to get an idea of how each of you are approaching that, whether you've considered signing up to Poseidon or whether you're looking at those matters in a different way. Bill, seeing as though you're just speaking, maybe kick off with that, and then we can let the others chime in.
The good thing, I participate the Poseidon and the agreement also initiated by the Citibank, also the European banks. So they organized 2 workshops in China, one in Shanghai, one in Beijing. So both workshops, and I have the chance to participate. I would say in principle we support these kind of ideas, but for the Chinese leasing house, also the Chinese banks. So it's a majority of the state-owned. So we have to go through our long internal process. So right now I can't give the answer yes or no, because it's the legal team have to review the 300-page document. The one bad thing, it's not bad, but the document itself, the agreement itself cannot be modified any further. So if anything, just one sentence not satisfied by our legal team, the document cannot be moved on, unfortunately. But so far we haven't heard any feedback yet, because 300-page document, it takes some time. But personally, I support good ideas.
Jack, your thoughts?
Yeah, yes, Bill just mentioned that he already participated the 2 workshops in Beijing and Shanghai. Actually, Bill also organized the roundtable meetings between the Chinese lessors in Beijing. Bill invited us come to Beijing to join to discuss if all of our Chinese leasing house to join the Poseidon principles. So for CMB leasing, we do support these principles. Yeah, this is the same situation to Bill's just mentioned. So we have a non-procedure to look at the documents. So if we sign the documents, there's a lot of paperwork before the signature. So, but for the practicing, we ask our project managers to do the deals, to look at deals, just based on the Poseidon principles. Actually, we have done refinance projects with Citibank, and also the Citibank just use their Poseidon principles to ask our projects to provide some conditions on that. So we totally agree on that, and we also maybe put the principles as a guidance to guide our future projects.
And from BOCON's perspective, Mr. Fang?
How to say, we are not expert to decarbonization of the industry, but we know the green shipping, the environment protection, and also the decarbonization is very important and necessary. And we will take a very positive attitude to this, to the decarbonization, to the energy saving and environmental protection issues of the shipping industry. So generally, we will respond very positively to that.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, we're out of time, so it just leaves me to thank you very much for your time and for joining from Beijing and Shanghai. I'm glad the technology seems to have held up for the session, and just like to sort of wish everybody in Athens a very successful conference and a great afternoon. And thank you very much for your time, gents.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also,
Thank you very much. Take care, everybody.
thank you very much, and also thanks for Capital Link's organization.
Me too. Yeah.
Right.